with Brad Hunt playing his first game in a long time and playing as poor a game as you've ever seen. And Sealer was awesome. But Patterson at times was hit and miss. The fact that they were able to win that game, this is why Jonas Brodin, by the way, is untradeable right now. They cannot afford to trade this guy because right now, they got 3D playing outstanding. And still, we have all seen that Suter goes into ruts where he is struggling, and that's just gonna, and especially during this condensed schedule coming up. If they traded Brodin, you might as well just close up shop for this season because he's going to be absolutely needed this next month and a half to kind of insulate Suter for a bit and protect the guy and have another guy able to make big minutes. But the other night, when you have one line that you could just throw your big guns at and say, all right, if we're going to lose this game, it's got to be, that guy to beat us, the third and fourth liners, then you're going to usually beat Colorado. But if those guys are going to be superstars, you're going to lose. But it's usually, if you're going to lose that game to them, it's going to have to be those three to beat them. And so what you do is you load up your best checkers against them and your best 2D and then say, all right, if we're going to lose this game, it better be Carl Soderberg that's going to beat us. So that's kind of my take on that.
Hello, Vicky. How are you? Do you have something from Phil? Oh, let's see.
Yeah,
the Unabomber has sent his manifesto.
It's long, but he told me just to answer part of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm going to ask my question.
Michael, pay attention.
Are you paying attention?
I was just looking at my car again.
That's okay.
Who's the sucker who's going to go wipe off Michael
brush.
Russo's car? That's the question.
That's
the big question here.
When you talk to Fenton, does he understand that most of the fans go tweak, not happening? That we all get that the tweak thing isn't going to work?
Well, I think he gets it, but look, like Chuck Fletcher, he's under instructions on how to build this thing. But the most interesting part of that Q&A the other day is that he said to me that Craig Leopold's on board with whichever direction he decides to take this team. To me, that said it all.
Good.
And you say excellent or good, but let me just tell you, it will be painful if he rips his team apart. It just absolutely will. This team is not close if you rip away their core. And it will. They are not going to be close. It will be a long time before they catch up to every other team. And that's why he's in a very challenging position. You look at these other teams in this division, the amount of bright young stars that they all have coming that we haven't even seen yet. If all of a sudden he tears apart this core, it will be a long rebuild process. It's not going to be quick. So I totally agree that he's got to consider little rebuilds. Like I would trade Granlund if all of a sudden he's going to only sign here for 8.5. But I wouldn't trade everybody. And if all of a sudden you start ripping apart guys like Jonas Brodin and Jason Zucker and Charlie Coyle even and all these guys together, it will be a long, painful process. And I don't know if he's got it in him to build this team the right way.
Well, it's been kind of long and painful for
a while. I know, but this is a first-year GM that's already, in my eyes, made some really awkward moves.
Yes, he has.
And so I don't know if you want him making these moves. So
we're kind of stuck, though, I think.
I know. I get it. But if his idea of trading Nino Niederreiter is going to be to get Victor Rask back, and he does that times 5, look out. So that's what I'm just saying.
Well, I'm nervous about it too. But honestly, if we're not going to make it past the first round of the playoffs, I just assume we not make it.
All right, but then you're going to absolutely, as a hockey fan, you're going to that's what I think a lot of people don't also understand is that we all watch this to be entertained and watch a great product and things like that. And if you are watching crap every single night, it will make your experience awful. So I get while we all are sitting there and have this philosophy like rebuild, this isn't good enough. But let me just tell you, the process to get there will suck. And that's why the owner doesn't want to do it. It's that simple. We've watched the Wild at home lose 7 of the last 11 games, is it? Has that been fun for you, paying to go watch that?
No.
Right. So that's my point. Times that by, infinity. I'm just saying, trust me, I've covered crappy teams. I covered the 97, 98, the 98, 99 Panthers that had a 15-game winless streak and a 13-game losing streak. And it was ugly, and I'm just telling you, those things are not fun.
Well,
So.
after 18 years of watching them,
Right.
19 years, whatever.
I get it. Trust me, I get it.
It's been pretty painful.
Yep.
I mean,
but
it's been
remember
fun
the
too.
1,000 podcasts that I used the term "the Wild are making their bed." The Wild are making their bed. When I
Yes.
said that, I meant it like you're in a freaking hotel where you get calf pulls trying to get the freaking covers up. They made their bed to the point that it is going to be very, very difficult to get them out of this. I mean, that's just the reality is that they are still a pretty good team that they cemented their core. They drafted, they decided to commit to them, and now they've put themselves in a position here where there are no easy answers to get themselves out of this. They're right in the middle. And what's frustrating is that when you watch them play in Vegas and Colorado, they're a great hockey team. But yet we all know what's going to happen around the corner. I mean, it just always does with the team. And in the actual playoffs, when you're looking straight ahead right now, I mean, they're in a position where they're in a great position to finish third in the division yet again. Well, what's that reward going to be? Winnipeg or Nashville? And that won't be easy.
So, Michael, you get calf pulls when you pull up the sheets in a hotel room?
Well, you get.
No, I don't know. Help me with this.
You don't get. We've all gotten spasms in our calf.
So you hurt your finger pulling up your socks,
Yeah.
and now
The
you're
calf
getting
pull
calf
was a
pulls.
joke. The calf pull was a joke on last week's hospital visit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So-
But with you, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I didn't know it was
I can't
a joke.
wait to
I thought
hear
you
it.
actually hurt your calf
Yeah.
in your hotel bed.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear Phil's question. Go for it.
I have to pull it up here.
You have to hit cancel there.
I'm just intrigued that you're telling me how bad the team's going to be.
I'm
and-
just telling you.
No. I mean, we've talked about this in Italy, I believe. Isn't that right? I think so.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's easy for fans that aren't stakeholders to sit there and say rebuild, but it's not a magic thing. As to Ben's point, it is not a magic thing. I mean, you could very well be the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers have had 4 number 1 picks in a six-year span? What'd that do for them? They got them in the playoffs 2 years ago, which obviously was an aberration. So
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to rebuild. I'd just like to see some results down the line.
Right.
That's all. Okay, you ready? Does his fan base really think that the tweak of simply adding Kaprizov will immediately change this team from middling bubble team to a legitimate contender?
Well, that's exactly what I said 20 minutes ago. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think we're all looking at him as being this absolute savior because he is an absolute stud in Russia. But for him to just come here and first of all be a rookie right away, but then to him just come here and turn this team, it's just not going to happen. He's going to play 15 minutes a night. It's not going to just turn this thing into a team that's going to go and win a star. They win a cup. They absolutely need that type of skill level, but they need multiple players like that. And so, I do concur. And also remember, he's coming here when Parisi and Suter are going to be 36. Stahl, if he's on an extension, is going to be 37. No, he's Parisi and Suter's age. So he'll be 36. You got 2 more years of maybe of age to the other guys on the team. We don't know who the goalie is going to be. So in 2 years, who knows what this team looks like. So
Phil feels pretty strongly that it's going to take him 3 years to get up to.
Well, I agree. He's
we're
not just going to
expecting.
magically going to be.
Yeah.
The one thing is, I will say to Phil, he's not coming in as an 18-year-old rookie. He's going to be coming in as a 3-year-old rookie, which is, that's the only positive thing you could, at least the theory is the positive thing of him staying in Russia for 2 more years is that he's helping, he's further developing what is going to be a young raw game. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have
Thanks,
a good
Vicky.
trip, too.
So I agree with Phil.
Appreciate it.
Finally, we agree.
Couple minutes left in the show. And we got a lot of good Twitter questions, but we always defer to our people who show up and brave the cold to see us face to face. So we will continue with the live questions here. Fire away.
So, and it was either the first or second live podcast this year. I asked you how early I should look into buying a new jersey because I bought a Niederreiter jersey at the beginning of this season.
And what did I tell you?
I do believe your exact words were, if the team is bad and he's bad, don't look for him to get traded. Well, half of that was closer, or it was like if he wasn't playing well, he probably wasn't going to get traded.
Well, because I didn't think that
we're going to trade for Victor.
Well, I didn't think that anybody was going to take 5.25, but you got to get a bad contract back. But I would say that if you listen to most things, with this, especially with this team, is that there's always going to be contradictory statements from podcast to podcast. I mean, a month and a half ago, we were talking about Granlund being an absolute stud, and look at him. He's got 2 goals in his last almost 30 games now.
But actual question here. So seeing that, Ek and Cunnin got sent down to Iowa to play during the break, and to your comment earlier, they've been playing better. Everybody's thinking they're not playing great. They get sent down there. They play like the player we want them to be here. They go and they play relatively well down there, and then they come up here and they struggle. When are they going to have that, like, Greenway revelation almost of, hey, I'm better than everybody down here. How can I translate that? Or
Well, Cunnin, Cummin's coming off of me. First of all, they're all different players. Greenway's got a personality where he is, it's like, we're seeing it in front of our eyes where he's starting to realize how good he can be, and you would love that to be from the other guys. Now, the difference between the other guys is they're both playing on the fourth line, and Greenway's getting significant minutes. He's no longer on the power play because of the trades for Victor Rask and Pontus Aberg, which is another thing that drives me crazy. I just don't understand those moves. I just don't get it. You finally have Greenway and you finally have Cunnin on the power play. You finally have Greenway playing great, and you make 2 moves for inferior players, and you slow again the development now where Greenway's not playing special teams. Makes no sense. Back to your original point. It is up to them. You'd love to see it more from Eriksson Ek because he's been in the league longer. But again, you're playing fourth line, but what I like about especially Eriksson Ek on that fourth line is at least it brings some speed to that line as opposed to having Hendricks or Brown who's out there doing nothing pretty much. And Fair, who's out there to win draws and be a great penalty killer, but he's not Eriksson Ek from a which some would say is a good thing. That he's not Eriksson Ek from a speed standpoint. But right now, they can't come back up unless somebody's going on waivers. Now, to me, the easy move is to throw Brown or Hendricks on waivers. I'm not positive. They gave Brown a 2-year deal, by the way, on a one-way contract. I'm not sure that they're going to be willing to admit that error and put him on waivers. That'd be the easy move in a couple days. Or the other move to get one of them back up is either there's 2 ways: is 1, wait for an injury, or 2, just throw Prosser or Hunt on waivers. They just acquired Hunt, so I don't think he's going to do that. They all, everybody has an ego. And I'll tell you one thing: if they put Prosser on waivers, it will piss off that locker room. So I don't think that there was foresight on this move. I just think he saw a player that he likes. I think he said, I'm just taking him without the reality that it just made their roster 23 men, and he just acquired Hunt the day before.
So then, do you think sending down Ek and Kunin was the way to cover up part of that?
No, well, because he did it the day before, and he didn't know when they sent him down. He didn't know Boteto was going to be on waivers yet. So I think they were sending both down during the break, and then going to probably call up Eriksson Ek and keep Cunnin down there. Well, now technically, unless somebody's on waivers in the next 2 or 3 days, they can't bring Eriksson Ek back up if they're going to play Eric Fair in Dallas. Now, one thing that they could do is in second of back-to-backs, Eric Fair hasn't played in a long time. Maybe you make the acquisition. You don't activate him for the Dallas game. You bring up Eriksson Ek for that Dallas game, and then you send Eriksson Ek down and activate Fair for the Chicago game. That's something that you could possibly do, and you could play around with the lineup as well. We'll see in the next couple days. I could tell you that when they took Boteto off waivers the other day, they might change their tack here in the next couple days and realize, especially if Boudreau's the one doing the campaigning, like I would like Eriksson Ek back, they might throw a player on waivers. But when they took Boteto on waivers the other day, I'm pretty sure that Paul Fenn's like, it doesn't matter. We don't need Eriksson Ek or Cunnin back. Just play Brown or Hendricks. And I just think that inside the organization, they're like, wait a minute. We've won 4 or 5 games, 3 in a row, in large part because of our fourth line playing better than our third line right now. We can't make that move. So if they do it, I think it's going to be a change in what their original determination was 2 days ago. Let's put it that way. So
good questions. Thank you. This hour flew. Yeah, we do an hour when we do the live show to give people time to eat and have a drink or two and relax. We'll go to Michael for a final thought here.